Necromancers are often given a pretty bad reputation in video games. Perhaps it's because of their disposition to raise the dead to serve their bidding, or their negative portrayal in mainstream media as evil and selfish beings. Maybe we wouldn't have such suspicious perceptions of necromancers if necromancers played the hero sometimes, bravely avenging the murdered brother of a fellow warrior. You have my axe, you have my sword, you have your dead brother. Well, maybe not. Necro Story by Belgian developer Rablo Games lets us see the adventure through a mostly evil necromancer's eyes as he tries to save the world. What's it like? Get your talking staff, load up on mana crystals, and resurrect some dead guys as we review Necro Story for Nintendo Switch. Now ironically, I've been away for 9 days, so before we begin this review, would you mind helping me resurrect my channel by liking and subscribing? It's the best way to bring What's It Like back to life, and I can't thank you enough for doing so. Necro Story weaves a tale following Jameis, a necromancer who's been awoken by Vivi, a white mage and nemesis who actually put him to sleep in the first place, in order to help him save the world. This frenemy dynamic spins a more light-hearted approach to dark magic, with constant witty banter and bickering fleshing out the history of their complicated relationship the further the story progresses. How it plays out can be influenced by you a little bit, as there's multiple endings. For my review playthrough, I ended up with the bad ending, but I know where I went wrong now, and I will go back to find out what happens in the good ending. And this certainly adds to the replayability for those who are completionists at heart. Speaking of completionists, the game can be expedited, or players can hunt down every single treasure chest or creature by following certain signs on the path of victory. While I really like this approach and I had to rush through the game in certain areas due to time constraints, having the signs lead the way helped speed up that process. There's also nice little touches as well, like when making big decisions during the story, the game will tell you if it's recommended next to the better option. The game largely revolves around an overworld of the area you're in, which consists of random and sometimes avoidable battles as you embark on your quest to open up a portal and restore the human race back to Earth. There's a little bit more to it, but I don't want to go into spoiler territory by saying what it is. But the game has a lot of RPG elements in both character leveling and combat, but it doesn't bog you down with hard to wrangle mechanics because it just likes to keep it simple, but engaging and fun. Combat in Necro Story is a cross between both real-time and turn-based, with each spell having individual cooldowns which you can scroll between to fire them off, while absorbing souls and mana crystals by aiming your staff and vacuuming them up. Your party will consist of monsters you have captured the souls of, and you arrange them in almost like a simultaneous Pokemon battle. This is where a lot of the intricate depth of the gameplay mechanics comes in, as each creature has a class and specific abilities such as a tank, healer, melee, and even certain elements of damage that you'll need to take into consideration. Collecting creatures becomes a really fun aspect of the game, and being a creature of habit, I rarely swapped out what I thought was my winning combo once I completed my team. But Jameis won't just be sitting by issuing commands, however, as you'll have him level up as well and unlock new spells from different trees of magic, which consist of Affliction, Darkness, Life-Stealing, Summoning, and Dark Pacts, and they can each be customized with skill points as well, leading to some very interesting builds. My playthrough actually focused on Jameis being a damage over time necromancer, poisoning and spreading that poison to other enemies to weaken them down while my minions chipped away at their health. You can also summon other creatures or even turn into a demon should you find their hidden towers and sign a pact with them. There's actually quite a lot to do, and many ways to do it, which plays to Necro Story's strengths. Graphically, Necro Story has a unique hand-drawn style that makes you feel like you're playing an interactive storybook. The animations and expressions do a good job of bringing Jameis and VV to life, no pun intended. There are small little intricacies that I really liked about the game, like discreetly highlighted paths to unlock certain areas, or summoning multiple zombies that all look different instead of just the same skin repeatedly. There's also an enchanted staff that calls me brah, and it reminds me of my son a bit, and it's moments like these that make the game an absolute delight to play. The game looks great in both handheld and dock mode, but I did experience some minor stuttering towards the late game, especially when going into battles, and there were some areas in the overworld maps that had minor slowdown. These performance issues were negligible at best and didn't detract from my experience at all with the game, but it should be noted. There's also been a post-launch update as well, so these issues may or may not have been corrected, and I'll update this review for my second playthrough if it's been fixed. For my necromancers looking into accessibility options, there aren't any specific options to speak of, so I recommend further research into finding out if Necro Story is for you. At $22.50 Australian, there's a lot of story, laughs, and fun included in Necro Story, and the adventure will take you around 10 to 15 hours to complete, depending on how thorough you want to be. Necro Story may be about dark magic, but it's a light-hearted approach. It's full of witty banter, unique enemies, reluctant allies, and interesting tech trees. It's a great size adventure that's well worth the price of entry, with plenty of laughs, a good battle system, and unique game mechanics. Hey, gotta reanimate them all. So, what's it like? Necro Story is like Pokemon crossed with Final Fantasy VIII's battle system. I award it an 82 out of 100. In the interest of full disclosure, a review copy was provided by Pirate PR, but this doesn't influence my score. Thanks so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. The best way you can support me is to like and subscribe and continue watching my content if you enjoy it. But if you do want to go that bit extra, you can buy me a coffee or join our Patreon, which shows you behind the scenes of this channel. Thanks again.